I had no idea what I was doing when I first started creating content online. I just knew that I was watching other people do something, and I had heard that they were making money. And so I decided that I was going to try to see what they were doing too. Welcome back to another episode of the Keenya Kelly podcast, where we talk about all things business, marketing your business, life, having a balanced life, and all the things. Today, we are having a conversation about how I got started creating content online, like my process, my fears, my all the things, because I know that you are here, whether you're listening to the show or you're watching this on YouTube, and you have either started creating content online or you want to create content online. And so I just want to share with you that, the process that I kind of went through as I was doing this. Now, obviously today I create content pretty much every day, as so to speak. But I didn't always start this way. And so I wanted to just take some time and kind of walk you through how I did that and then how you can do it too. I'm also going to try to help you to skip some steps because I wish that there was like this rule book when I first got started, but there wasn't one. And so I want to try to give you some of that here today. So when I first started online, I don't think I can even remember the people that were online creating content. I know I watched certain people, I read posts, I saw images and stuff, but I can't really remember all their names. But for me, I had a business at the time when I first started. I was in network marketing. I was also working for Sprint on the corporate side. And I just was on Facebook one day, I think, and I saw people posting about live streaming. And that wasn't a thing that I was aware of. And there was through this app called Periscope. And so people would be live on Periscope and they were sharing it to their Facebook feed. And so that's how I found out about it. So eventually I downloaded this app so I could watch the people that were posting to see what they were doing, how they were doing it, and why they were doing it. And I started to realize really quickly that people were making money, that they were showing up, marketing themselves in whatever type of way. And as a result, it started to make them money. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I want to just try and figure this out. Now, I was freshly off my divorce. I think I was actually still in the process because you had to wait like 6 months or whatever. I can't remember, but I think I was still in that process. But I remember just kind of being like, I just kept watching for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And then eventually I decided I'm just going to go live. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I wasn't building a brand. I was just like, I'm just going to go live and I'm going to talk and I'm going to see what happens. And I just kind of started doing that. And then every night, once a week or whatever, I would sit down and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to go live again tonight, talk about whatever I'm going to talk about. But it wasn't until I went to an event called Creating a Dynasty with Danny Johnson in San Antonio, I think it was. And on my way back, I heard God tell me the name You, Me, and Jesus. And that was my live stream show he wanted me to do. And I was like, I don't really have a whole lot to say here. And he was like, You, Me, and Jesus, I want you to go live every Sunday. And I want you to talk about your relationship with me. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of started doing that. And obviously I wasn't selling anything. I'm still not selling anything with You, Me, and Jesus. At some point in time I will, but right now I'm not. And I just kind of started doing that. But eventually I was on Facebook and I saw a lady talk about that she was going to be hosting an in-person event. And this event was going to be $50 and you could come to as a whole day event or whatever. And there was this part of me that was like, I know that I have potential to build something, be something, make lots of money, whatever. But I don't really know what I would do. I don't really know how I would get there. There was just all these questions that I had. And so I said, well, I'm going to go to this event. It's only $50. I'm going to go to this event. Went to the event. It was a great event. She was teaching about email marketing and systems and for all this stuff that was really, really new to me. And so I ended up enrolling in this year-long coaching program with her that was 12 months. And through that process, one of the things that they encouraged us to do was to create content online. And I was like, I don't really know how to do that, like all this stuff. But in her program, she gave everybody these light kits. And she wanted all of us to set up a space in our places and set up these lights and start teaching online. And none of us really knew what we were doing. A lot of us were really scared and we didn't know what we were doing. But I was like, I signed up for this thing. I'm going to do whatever I'm being told to do because I want to have success with what I want to do in my life in general. So I just kind of started like showing up, teaching. And eventually I had a call with them and was like, how am I going to actually make money? And they were like, well, you have to build an online community that like, you can't just post to your friends from high school and college and expect all of them to buy consulting services or whatever it is you're going to sell. Like this doesn't work that way. You've got to build a brand. You got to build a personal brand. And I knew about branding. I just didn't really know about content creation. And so I was just like, okay, I'll just get on and I'll start trying to do this thing, content creation thing. They didn't even call it content creation then. It was just making videos. So I just kind of started and people started showing up. I would go live on Periscope for, I think it was every day. And I would go live and I would teach. Sometimes they would have one person, 5 people. Other times nobody would be there and I would just be there talking as if people were there and nobody was there. And I did that for months, many months. Eventually I created like my first like program and sold my first program to 2 people. And I just kept creating and I just kept showing up and showing up and showing up. But then Facebook launched live stream. And so then I started with 2 phones. So I had my main phone and I had a really cheap phone. And I got a tripod, 2 tripods. And I started to set it up for Facebook Live and Periscope Live. And then I would get on there and I would teach and I would teach and I would teach. Eventually I learned the art of getting people to share my content. That if I told people to share, that what would happen is that my people would see my videos, but then when they shared on their platform, their people would see my videos. And so I started going, okay, well, let me do more of that because that's going to help me build an audience because these are people that don't know me. And if they learned about me through somebody, there's potential that they are going to want to connect with me or whatever. And so that's what started to happen. And I just kept being consistent with that, like showing up, every single day. Eventually, I started calling it the Keenya Kelly Morning Show, where Monday through Friday at 8:30, I would show up and I would teach live every single day for 25, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. Try to keep it less because people were headed into work. And I just started kind of doing that. And what started to happen was more people started to join my live streams. Eventually, Instagram Live came out. And I started going, okay, let me start using all those as well. And then eventually I just started to realize that there was a lot of power in creating videos because when you look at it from a literal standpoint, like right now, I am inside of my apartment here in Houston, Texas, and nobody's here. It's just me and my cats. But because I'm recording videos and I'm posting them here on YouTube, or this audio is here on the podcast, now you know that I exist. Because in my space, I'm creating and then I'm putting it out to the world to experience. And so through that process, I just really started to learn the power of creating something and then letting the world experience it, which could lead to growing something that could change my life forever, which it literally has, And I'll be honest, there were a lot of times I can see myself now in Houston in that apartment where I didn't want to show up. I mean, I was battling depression after going through divorce. People weren't really showing up to my live streams because nobody knew me. I wasn't really a good live streamer because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have great lighting. There was a lot of stuff that I just did not know and wasn't doing because I really just did not know any better, And I just remember just having this moment kind of with myself where I said, I will until. right? I had read all the books in network marketing, and the rule was like, you will until, keep going until. And I just kept saying, okay, I'm going to keep going at this until, because at any point in time, something could break. At any point in time, something could change. And if something changes, it could literally change my life forever. And so I just made that decision, and I'm glad that I did, because during that time, my coach was teaching me how to build an email list, was teaching me how to sell products and services, was teaching me all these different things that I could do that was going to make me money. And I just kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. Eventually, I built a brand design agency, because the more that I kept talking online about branding, teaching people about personal branding, they wanted me to design things. They wanted me to design their websites and their logos. And I didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't have that business. I didn't have that experience, but I was like, I knew what I was talking about. I just didn't have a company to be able to, sell it to people. So then I learned how to build an agency, and how to build that agency, utilizing amazing talent overseas. And that the way that I was going to get clients was to show up online. It was creating videos online, showing up online, showing up in other people's communities, and just kind of doing that. And that was helping me to grow an audience and then grow my business. And then, of course, fast forward many years later, the pandemic, God tells me to get over on TikTok. I do. And then everything that I had been doing for all those many years, let me see, that was like 6 years. No, 4. I think 4 or 5 years prior to 2020, everything that I had been doing, 2020 just made everything explode, because I started using short video marketing. I started taking all the same different concepts and teachings and turning it into short form. So TikTok, and then I was live every day, because live stream is an amazing way to grow. And I was on Instagram, and then Instagram Reels came out, and I just kept on doing these things, showing up on a regular basis, building, teaching, selling, and it kept just helping me to grow. So for you, here we are in July of 2024, and there is a possibility that you have a large audience. There's a possibility that you have no audience. No matter whatever phase you're in, if your goal is to go from where you are to where you want to go, one of those things has to be strategic content creation. Okay. One of those things has got to be strategic content creation, where you're showing up on a regular basis, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, and you're showing up on a regular basis creating content, especially short video content. Short video content is going to allow you to connect with people faster. Okay. Because people's attention span is short, and if they're able to watch your 20-second, 30-second, 1-minute video, they can consume a lot of content by you. And the next thing you know, they're ready to follow you, they're ready to connect with you, and they're ready to do business with you, because they've been able to experience so much of you. Okay. So if you're someone with a large following, then your job is to figure out, like, if you're not making the money you want to make, is you need strategic help with the content and your offer, what you're selling to people, to be able to take it to the level that you want to take it to. If you're brand new to this, then you need help with, like, okay, what type of content should I be creating? Because there's a lot of different ways you can create content. There's a lot of different places where you can create content, but you're probably trying to figure out, like, how do I show up? When do I show up? Whatever. No matter which one you are, you heard in the middle of the podcast, us talking about my course, Vertical Video Mastery, and that course is definitely going to help you with this. So if you're brand new, I'm going to help you get started. If you're experienced, I'm going to help you become more strategic and intentional with your content and selling your offers. Okay. So for you, if you are here and you are contemplating joining us in Vertical Video Mastery, I would encourage you to join us. One, because I'm going to be there with you. It's not just about the pre-recorded content material, but it's really about me being there with you every single day, because one of the things that we do inside of this course is you're showing up every day for 15 minutes. I'm showing up for minimum 15 minutes and doing live calls with you about what it is that you need help with when we're on our calls and when we're in our community. So if that's you and you know you need help, whether you're brand new or you need more strategic intentional help with what you've already built, then I want to encourage you to come and join us on the inside of Vertical Video Mastery. Now, listen, you can join us for $74 this month, right? $74 is what is going to get you started in VVM today, and you don't pay another payment for another month. So 12 monthly payments of $74. It's going to get you on the inside of VVM. Okay. So join us. There's a link in the show notes and here on YouTube in the description. If you have any questions about me, content creation, or the course, if you're on YouTube, you can just comment below. If you are listening to the podcast, just come to find me on Instagram at Keenya Kelly, and you can come ask me some personal questions about it because I want to help you. Okay. So thank you so much for hearing me talk about my story about how I started creating content online. Thank you so much for being here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and write a review on YouTube, on the podcast players. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching.